welcome back. Still in season 3 of the Gemini Podcast. We are here in the building. Show gratitude. And we have a new face. Y'all haven't seen us on 1 or 2. So I had to bring some new people for 3. You know, I got to give y'all the fresh feel. Today, we have Mr. Craig Freeman in the building. What's up? How you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling great. Feeling energized now that I'm here. Yeah.
Were you on edge a little bit?
I was a little nervous at first, man. But now I feel like you got the flow going on.
Yeah.
Like you saw me in Enchanted Forest, so I'm good now.
And we are here about to get ready to bring out another show. Before we get started, we got to break the ice. We got to get to know you.
Okay.
The people. I got 3 questions.
Oh, Lord.
First icebreaker question for you today. Could be something easy. What's your favorite color and why?
Oh, my favorite color is gold.
Okay.
Easy. Yeah. I mean, of course, like being dark skinned, gold just looks good on me.
Oh.
Yeah, so I guess that's the main reason, right?
Mm.
But I love gold because it just has so many there's spiritual elements to it, of course, spiritual properties. And it's just like whenever I wear gold, it just gives me like a different type of energy and feel in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like especially when I'm walking around, I just feel I feel like royalty, honestly. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I love gold.
Okay.
It reminds me, I guess, of my royalty.
Okay. So gold it is.
Yeah.
Second question. Where is a place that you would like to travel to, either here or overseas? And why?
Ooh. I want to go to Morocco.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Yeah, I want to go to Morocco. I've always wanted to go to Africa, and just there's something about Morocco that just calls me for some weird reason. I don't know why, but I know I want to go there, and I've always said if I ever move outside of the States, I want to move there.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Mos Def, the
yes,
rapper?
Yes.
Yeah, so like he moved over there and like kind of seen his journey, his spiritual journey, and how he moved over there. That kind of inspired me to kind of like look into Morocco. So yeah.
Cool, because actually there's a fellow lady, I can't think of her name off the top of my head right now, but she takes people every year as a retreat. I have to find it and share it, and she takes you over and actually kind of like does like a retreat and just show you around. And there's another one that does Egypt like that too.
For real? Sounds like I got a new friend.
Right, I was like, well, how do I sign up?
Right.
So, over here. And your final question before we get into the main topic is going to be, when was the, shout out to DJ Sam on this one again, when was the last time you did something for the first time?
Man, that is an interesting question. That is interesting.
That came from season 1, I think season 1 or 2 with one of my guests, DJ Sam. And he said, you know what, next season, ask this question. And I'm like, okay. So everybody either cusses him out or goes off.
That's a good question.
What did it make you think? Okay.
That's a good question.
Yes.
I got to think about that.
Come on with it.
You know what? Is this doing this right here? This is the first. Like I've watched millions and millions of podcasts on YouTube. I've listened to them, whatever. But this is my first time actually being on one. So I guess you broke the ice for me
today.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
and it won't be your last, because I feel you either gonna have your own or you're gonna be your voice is gonna be on so many of them.
Appreciate that.
So I always say this. No one knows the topic until you get here.
Right. I'm still nervous.
He still doesn't know.
Right.
Okay? But I always bring a topic that relates to you that you can be like, okay, yeah, I'm passionate about that.
Okay.
So it's not anything off the wall or crazy. I'm not going to pull a Wendy Williams on you or whatever. But the question or the topic of today, it comes off of your page. And I had to write it down because I didn't want to misquote. And I probably still misquote it. But on your page, on your Facebook page, you say, how can you help others if your vision isn't clear with actionable steps? So the topic is going to be visions. Having a vision. Because a lot of people, I have ideas all day long.
Right. Shoot, me too.
And me and you talk about it all the time.
Right.
Getting it on paper, getting it in put it in action.
Yeah.
Any advice, because you are the guru, on that, what you put on your page. That's your tagline.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, okay, cool. So look, I feel like you can't move forward without a clear vision, right? I think the where that stemmed from, it stemmed from my own personal experiences, right?
Okay.
So for example, I think all of us have visions and ideas that come to us, but you you can't articulate that to other people and get them to truly understand what you are envisioning. Right? So that confusion of feeling that pain, like I'm telling you something, it's like, you don't get it.
Right. That's the first thing.
You don't feel
Don't even worry about it.
You don't
even
feel me, right? So now I like with writing, when I started writing my thoughts out, writing my ideas out, and then it's like, oh wow, okay, this is what I want to say, right?
Yes, okay.
And then like now I understand this is what I want to say, but I recognize that I'm at step 4.
Okay.
I'm trying to explain step 4 without explaining step 1 to you, right? So for an example, when I look at, like when I talk about healing to anyone, right?
Okay.
I talk about like, how can I bring you to a healing modality or a healing method without telling you about consciousness, right? Because I feel like we have to understand how powerful our own inner power or inner healing can be.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you have to understand that you already have the power to heal yourself, right? So it's like, without having that clear vision written out, I would be talking about, well, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, you do that. You know what I mean?
And that's how people approach you.
Right. And then it's like, you don't get it? Like, people are, I've already healed all these other people. And so-and-so's been healed by this person. And it's like, I'm showing you all these results from this person. And it's like, you still don't get it. Like, what else do you need? And it's like, I haven't even started with the foundation of that. So, you got to have actionable steps, right? So you got to write everything out first and then figure out where do you need to start and then follow that process.
Okay.
Right? To me, am I talking too much? Am I
no,
okay.
I'm okay. It's just flowing,
it'll
flow.
Just flowing and going. So the way that I look at it, it's when I look at your ideas and the vision that you have, that is like, of course, your spirit coming to you and using your creative power, of course, to articulate this thought to you, right? And with creativity, while it seems so ambiguous and it can seem so like there's no structure to your creativity, really what you have to do is, it's like creativity is actually just taking the next step, the next logical step in the process, right? So it's like, I look at it as a recipe.
Yeah.
Right? The first thing you gotta do if you're trying to cook anything is like, you gotta get the pots and pans.
Yeah,
right?
because you can't be in that kitchen without them, right?
Right, you can't do that, right? And then so you have to understand, okay, what exactly do I want to cook, right? And then you have to get those ingredients, right? And then you gotta learn how to mix those ingredients, then of course put it all together so you can have this meal, right? So essentially, that's how I look at like the visions and everything. You using your creativity to put in order what the next logical step is. Because if you're trying to teach that to someone or share that with your audience, right, you have to give it to them in steps.
Yeah, people like steps.
Right, because it just helps you understand it. That's how our brains are. It's like, okay, it's like, what do I need to do next?
Yep.
What do I got to do next? What do I have to do next? And once you put that into steps for people, it makes it so much easier for them to follow along with you and then understand your vision. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have those action steps in there. And it's like, you're just kind of hand-holding people in a sense, but at the same time, you're bringing people to the result that they're looking for. They came to you for a reason, and all you're doing is just helping them through that process.
True. And see, a lot of times I get online and I want to learn something, and then they have like, you can learn this in this marketing strategy class. So I sign up for a free class.
Yeah.
I'm in there, and they telling me all the stuff that they've done and how much money they've made, and then it ends, and I'm like, That's it? Like, what did you do?
Finessed, right?
Right. I done sat here for an hour.
Right.
What did you do to start? Like, did you have a dream?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, man, or is this something that you want to do as a kid? Like, I do like those steps, but then when it's me on the other end, I do start at step 5 and then be like, so you don't get it?
Right.
What do you mean?
Right.
And then with the creative process too, me and Soraya, we looked at a Netflix called Creative Brain.
Yeah.
Have you watched that?
I haven't watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
Please watch it.
Yeah.
And so it was so much deep things about how our brain has to have steps.
Right.
And it has to have process. And sometimes it actually comes off of memory too. This lady, she invented her lab based off of a toy that she played with when she was small.
Wow.
And it's kind of like, but she knew the steps. I remember how I played this. I remember the steps. And so she ended up deep diving into it and showing her other teammates, this is how we're going to make this work. Because clearly we got to go all the way back.
Yeah.
like you said, step one to
Yeah.
get to where you are.
Man.
So with your vision, has your vision been easy?
Has
Did
not.
you start off with
Oh,
steps 1,
man.
2, 3?
Whew. Lord have mercy. Look,
Let's talk about it.
my vision, or bringing my vision to fulfill, I guess, into reality.
Yes.
It has been extremely difficult for me. For me, so
You make it look so easy.
Huh?
You make it look so easy.
I mean, you can say that.
Okay.
You can say that. But for me, it's been a lot of work.
Okay.
For me mentally, right?
Ooh.
So back in 2015, 16, I'll say 2015.
Okay.
Really like 2014. I started to feel like I wasn't myself. It was like, you see Men in Black.
Yes.
You know, when he had a little flashy thing. And
and then he erased your memory.
Man, that's how I felt one day. I just woke up one day and it was like, I don't know who I am anymore. I know this sounds cliche or whatever, but that's how I felt, as if like I was going through this personality death, right?
Okay. That's deep.
And I had to take some time out, and then of course I started studying music and I got into all that stuff.
Okay.
And I went through this process of trying out different activities to kind of find out who I am and what I'm really good at, right?
Okay.
And that's how I found writing, right? And so I started writing poetry.
Okay.
And I started sharing my poetry with the world, or with, I guess, my community.
Okay.
And I found out like how I think, my process of my thinking, how I arrive at conclusions, right? Because I had like all these poems.
Okay.
And each poem I had to be honest with myself, because I was sharing it with the public, right? So it's like I don't want to be one of those people where it's like you say something and they 10 years later it's like, man, you said that. Man, you know what I'm saying? This mother, he a liar. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hypocrite.
Right, exactly, right. And I actually have a poem called Hypocrite.
Oh, see?
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and by like writing like every single day, using I guess a creative medium,
Yes.
right? Using poetry as the form to express myself.
Okay.
I learned how my mind works, right? And then I learned like, okay, wow, like if I know I have something to say, or I know I have something deep inside me that I need to articulate to people to get them to feel where I'm coming from, I have to like find out steps.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to have those.
And then it's like I develop like certain frameworks for me to share whatever it is that I'm feeling, and I start using them just in everyday conversation.
Okay.
Friends, family, relationships.
You try to get you in the used to.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because the whole point was I have to make this useful for me, right?
Okay.
And when I start sharing my vision, and it's like, oh wow, okay, no, it's starting to make sense. And then I started to realize, okay, wow, I'm really good at writing, and I can actually help people in their writing process. So I started to do this. I started sharing my techniques with other people, and I found out the first thing I have to do, of course, is just you have to understand what makes you tick. What makes you tick? You got to ask yourself the right questions too. So, for example, it's like if there's something that you're trying to heal within yourself, right? It's like, okay, you have to look back in your past and say, what is really hurting me right now? What is keeping me from being the person I want to be? What are those main things, right? And then, okay, so you remember that scene, or you have that memory in your mind, right? And then it's like, okay, how did that even start? Who caused that? Right? Was it my family? Was it a friend? Was it some relative, some stranger or whatever? And then it's like, why am I still holding on to this?
Especially if it happened like years ago.
Right. Why am I still holding on to this? And it's like you begin to ask yourself, well, what benefit do I get from holding on to this? Right? And then you may ask, then like I'll ask myself, wow, well, I can share this message with people.
Okay.
Or share this thought with someone, and now we bond. Now we have a trauma bond, right? So I benefit in that, because what I'm really looking for is to be appreciated. You feel what I'm saying? And so it's like I'm looking to be appreciated from other people, so I share my misery with them. Like misery loves company, right?
Yeah.
So I share my misery with you, and then it's like now I've gained this friend, right? And then I share more people. Now I've gained an audience, right? And then so essentially what happens is like you're still living within that memory, and you're finding it like you're not asking yourself. It's unconscious to you, but you're not asking yourself, how am I actually benefiting from this?
Yeah.
And why do I want to hold on to it if it really hurts me? You know what I'm saying? So, and going through
shadow work.
going through that process, going through that shadow work process is what I share with other people, especially other entrepreneurs who are in the creative space and healing space. Yeah. because you have a purpose to heal other people, and it's like, but you have to heal yourself first. And there's certain things that are still lingering, right? Because I believe in like half healing. Like you can half heal yourself, and of course start helping. You know what I mean? Start helping other people. You know what I'm saying? Because like we're just powerful human beings.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
exactly.
But at the same time, there's still things that linger within our, I guess, subconscious, within our spirit, that we just haven't really confronted yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, for you to really tap into that true power that you have, there's certain things that you have to clear all that stuff out. Get the baggage out of here. You know what I'm saying? So, so yeah, that's doing that shadow work. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Is what truly helped me help other people. Yeah. And so I try to share that same framework with other people or other healers and creatives, because I truly believe in, you know, creative healing, you know, in the arts, and as well as in the actual, you know, spiritual healing practices as well. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So if it's needed, you know what I mean? It's just like we just need those steps, because a lot of our friends, our relatives, they don't get it. They don't. You know what I'm saying? And especially as, I'm sure as you know, as a healer, right? It's just like, you are trying to share this message because you truly care, right? But how can I make other people care
about themselves? Like I care about them.
Exactly.
I ask it to myself every day.
How can I do that, right? And that's where the whole point. You gotta have those steps, and it's like you gotta understand. Like you gotta get back to that main part is your own shadows, right? Your own ego, right? And really clear that stuff out, and then put the words to it, right? And making sure the words that you put to it are reframing the narrative from a negative narrative to more of a narrative of empowerment. Ooh. So, yeah.
And that's the thing when it comes to subconscious, like when you tapped on the subconscious mind, and every time someone comes to the studio, they always, and I'm like, okay, how do you feel about yourself? Let's say, for instance, well, I really don't, you know, I'm kind of big and I really need to lose weight. Well, where did that come from? Well, when I was 6, stop right there.
Right.
When you were 6. So now that's a memory that your subconscious is recalling. You know, even though, at 6 you may have been 200 pounds, but now you like 150. You still have made progress. But your subconscious mind, that's the one that holds memory. And it doesn't matter what memory. And like you said, you have to take the positive out of that. Okay, I was bigger, but now I can share that. At 6, this is what I was, and this is where I am now.
Right.
Take that positive. Because a lot of times, with the baggage, we put stuff on, just keep piling. Yeah. Just keep piling. And then the thing about it is, okay, how do I get the steps to unpile this shit? Okay,
Right.
Well, let's first start off, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready to even start digging through that? Because you're going to pull out some stuff. Like, you know how we go through summer clothes and put them up for the winter, and then winter clothes put them up for the summer. You're going to be like, damn, do I still need this sweater? Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I do. No, you're not going to wear that sweater. Put that in the Goodwill pile. Come on. Like, I do that all the time. I said it to I do this I like the same shirt I have recycled for 15 years.
Right, run out of hangers and stuff. Right. It's back in your closet now, right?
And you know you're not going to wear it this season. Right. But again, you still have to go through it and actually really, do I need this? Do I need this trauma? Do I need this memory? And if I do want to keep it, pull a positive out of it. How can you share with the world to be able to let somebody else know that they're not alone if abuse happened to you? Yeah. So the first step is, are you ready? Yeah. Because being vulnerable and opening yourself up and having your heart chakra open, you will be emotional. You think you ain't cried since you was 6? Oh, baby.
Man, you finna cry for a long time. You finna cry and get in the car. Right. As soon as you get in the car.
You gonna cry in the car.
Right.
Shout out to Friday.
Right.
But it's like you have to be ready. Yeah. And so then at that point too, you can't do it by yourself. Yeah. You gotta have somebody. And I reached out to this guy because my creative writing, I used to write so passionately when I was younger. Yeah. Lost it. Had to reach out because a lot of times I didn't want to. You know, the ego kicks in. I think I can do this on my own. Right. But if he's gone through the steps and he's figured it out, why not? Right. Why not invest in yourself? Why not pay the funds and be like, okay, this is what it's your price. Okay, well, this is what I need. Clearly.
Exactly.
Because you asked, do you use templates for your post? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I seen them templates. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you, I do. I just fill in the blank.
Right.
Because it was
it's like a little Mad Lib. You ever play the game Mad Lib? But it's like you just have some sentences and you just fill in the blank.
That's all.
I used to read your caption. I was like, it's okay.
It's okay. Hey, it's okay. And he shows so much love and support, but he was just like, look, sis, I got you. Yeah. let's do this. Let's put more passion behind it. You know, use the templates. Maybe 30% of it, the template, and the rest is you. You know, so you got to have those steps. So again, you know, you said going through the steps, figuring it out. You know how to figure it out. As far as being creative and opening up your mind, like, what some advice can you give somebody who's like, I'm stuck? Ooh. I used to be like that, like how I was, but I'm stuck now. Like, I don't even know what step 1, or if I have a step 7. Like, I don't know.
No, that's a great question. So what I do is, it's like, even in, like, for me, there's writer's blocks, right? Everyone talks about having writer's block. Write about writer's block. Why are you, like, how do you feel in this moment about being stuck or blocked? Oof. Right? So if there's anything that you're trying to do, you can't figure it out, just write about that. I always say, take some time out, sit down and write, like, why are you frustrated right now? And then in that process, if you just write for however long you want to write, because in that moment your spirit is speaking to you and it's trying to tell you, like, I'm trying to tell you something. I'm trying to tell you something, but you ain't listening, right? So it's going to go on this little rant for a little bit, and then it's like, you know how we all, we go on a rant, and then you kind of get to that point in the middle of it, right? And then as you are writing, you're going to have content for yourself. You're going to have information for yourself that you can use later on, because you can write, let's say it's 10, 20 minutes, whatever. Just take a step back, and then you come back to it and you read what you've written, and then you see, like, oh wow, I see why I'm stuck now. I see that it's because I am so focused on perfection. I am so focused on trying to make sure that I'm doing this right. I'm mad because I have deadlines, right? I got to go to work tomorrow morning, right? And it's like, I just want to go to sleep. You know what I mean?
I need a nap.
Right. I just want to go to sleep. I just want to eat, right? And it's just like, now, in that emotional honesty, you actually have creativity to work with.
Already there.
You see what I'm saying? And now it's like, you were so honest and raw in that moment. Now you can use that to share in your caption, your content, through your products, whatever it is. And you can keep that as a log of information. And let's say you constantly do that over and over and over. Now, let's say over a month period, you have all this content that you can go back to read over and be like, now I have information at my hands, right? Because now if you have the framework, then it's like, all I gotta do is just take a look at this information and input it into the framework.
Yeah. That's so dope. Yeah. And being creative and having those creative blocks, a lot of times, like you said, being perfect. That'd be that main thing. I gotta be perfect. Why? Because I'm gonna have, I don't know how many eyes is gonna see this. But what it is about being creative is the fact that it is yours. So whatever that looks like, feels like, sounds like, if you just touch one person, it doesn't have to be perfect, because maybe that imperfect person needs that imperfect, you know, creative thing that you've done. So you have to not be afraid. And that was the thing, I think fear was blocking me of what everybody's going to think about. Like, if I misspell a word, or, you know, if I don't use the right verb and pronoun and all that stuff, like, I got to go back to high school now.
Right.
Okay? You know?
The grammar police, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And you got people that be like that. I get DM'd all the time, Felicia, you misspelled something. Okay.
But you understood what I said, though. Come on, man.
You understood me. I'm just looking down, and I'll be like, appreciate it, and I go back and change it. But you have to be, because we live and we learn, and we don't fail, we just learn. It's just a learning structure. So to be perfect, what's another, like, kind of pointer you can say, you know what, about being perfect? Just trash that word. That's the word you need. I don't even know. I don't know. Like, people be thinking you have to be perfect out here. And social media has made you feel like that.
Most definitely, because it's because we live in the culture of where it's like this mob culture. Right? So for example, if someone sees that misspelling and they comment about it, and then everyone's gonna go look at that and be like, and then it's like, we feel as if people will miss our message if we're not perfect, right? And that comes back to the whole point I'm saying, like, we want to communicate something that's so dear to us, right? And it's like, because we care, and it's like, oh my goodness, you missed what I was trying to say just because I misspelled definitely. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's one of the words.
Yeah,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's one of the words.
And it's like everyone gets stuck on that, right? Because it's like everybody wants to be perfect, but at the same time, no one wants to be judged.
Whoop.
You know what I mean? It's so weird. It's so weird, but to me, it's like, if you're stuck in that, I guess, in that realm of trying to be, or I guess what they call it, analysis paralysis, whatever, or perfectionism, whatnot.
The perfectionism.
It's just how does it make you feel?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, how does the work make you feel? Like, when you wrote it and when you created it, how did it make you feel? Because, of course, there is going to be someone out there who may see the misspelled word, who may see the misword that you didn't put in there, right? But it's going to be someone out there who's going to feel you, because energy resonates with you. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. It's like someone's going to feel that energy that you're trying to communicate, and guess what? Those are people that you need to be communicating with.
Yeah.
The people who are trying to knock you because you weren't perfect or you misspelled a word or whatever, those aren't the people. That may not be your tribe. You know what I mean? But at the same time, all that criticism that you're receiving is still going to make you stronger. And at the same time, it is going to make you look at your work differently too.
True.
So it's going to make you a better proofreader. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, look, I can take your criticism and I'm going to learn from it. Right? I'm not going to let that affect me, because the whole point is the energy that I'm trying to put out, people are going to feel that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the main point of feeling that energy. And also, too, find out, like, you're writing for a reason. And when I used to write, I wrote because it resonated with me. It made me feel good. It made me release. Think about that. So write to yourself. So when I do write posts now, I think about my ideal client. That's me. I'm writing to myself.
Real.
And so there's more people out there like me that feels like me, that's maybe stuck in the same situation I'm stuck in, who's gone through it, and they're gonna receive that message. Now, you're gonna get some other eyes that gonna pass through, like you said. That may not be the person who needed it. Maybe that second reader was like, damn, I didn't know if he did that. I didn't know Craig was going through that. Okay, cool. Forget about it, because they thought it definitely was spelled right. So they didn't even notice it was spelled wrong, right? That's how I spell it, you know? So whatever. So just know that your ideal client is yourself. So when you do go into that creative space or that creative mode or doing that post like myself, just talk to yourself. And you will reach so many people. Thinking outside the box. So even on that Netflix series, The Creative Mind, people start off with the buildings. They build them straight up and down. Now with creative, now they putting Legos on top of buildings. They're building buildings out of all glass. It's now different shapes and all kind of stuff. So when it comes to stepping outside the box with your writing, because it's like, man, people wrote like this before. You know, what do you do to kind of put a swag to your writing to keep it fresh?
So what I'll do is, of course, I'll take a very traditional step and I'll look at the different forms of writing. So for instance, if I'm in the medium of poetry, right, what are certain ways you write? There is iambic pentameter. Of course, you can do. Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank right now. But no, there's other forms of, like, you can write it. You can do the AABA. You know what I mean? So there's different ways you can rhyme. You can just do regular, where you just like do a brain dump, right? And you just write it and you share that. You can do, or what I can do is, I'll use different words. So for example, if I hear a word that's resonated with me earlier in the week, or a few words or phrases, what I'll do is I'll put that into like a word vault or a phrase vault, and then I'll say I have to write something using all these words, right? Or for instance, I'll go read someone else's work, and I'll see, like, okay, how did he do this, right? How did he do that? For me, I love to listen to hip hop music, right? It's just like,
I'm like a hip hop guy.
Hip hop,
the old hip hop now, or the hip hop
honestly,
now.
I love it all. Be real with you, but I mean, I prefer more the old school hip hop. I'm a big, like, Kendrick Lamar fan, J. Cole fan. I love Outkast. Like, Outkast is like my
those messages.
Man, you feel me? But what I'll do is I'll listen to other artists, especially hip hop artists, and I'll listen to like their cadence and their style, right? And I'll try to figure out, okay, how did he do that, right? So I saw how the way he cut the beat on, you know, at this moment. I saw how he was on a 2 and 4, but then he got off for a second. Why did he do that? You know what I mean? And so change up the cadence, and then performing your writing too. That works, but a lot of times the way that I guess I switch it up is just I just look at the greats. I'll look at great writers and see what they do, and then I'll try to like mimic their style. So I try to speak like them. Right, as if I'm that person. So I'll try to speak like them and write that way, and then even if I fail, right, it doesn't come out like I wanted to. It's just like I was trying a new method, and then it gets my brain.
It gets it going.
Right. Exactly.
Because again, the brain wakes up and it likes kind of like A, B, C, D, E. But then if you add a Z in that thing, they're like, your brain is like, oh, okay, we got to work now because we're not doing the same thing we normally do. And that really brings your creative brain power to a whole new level. And then that brings you out of that box of being like, oh, shoot, I did something different. I like it. My brain liked it. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the thing behind the brain is so powerful. Oh, my God. Like, the stuff I've been reading about the brain is kind of like, you can do that. With sound, with poem, with poetry, with music.
Yeah.
You can elevate somebody's mood. You can bring somebody's mood down.
Wow.
With just words. And so so the people who actually are creators from way back, you know, I love Duke Ellington. And one of the things he said was the keys makes his heart open. It makes him vulnerable. It's just telling his story. Even by how he plays, you can tell if he's sad. Yeah. You can tell if he's upbeat. You can tell if he's happy. Just by how he plays.
It's that stream of consciousness he had. You can just feel it. That's and especially like in that genre of, you know, it was all about being in the moment.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
You can tell when they zoned out.
Right, because they will all have their moments where like every I guess musician, right? Yeah. In that band or whatever will have their moment of improvisation, right? They'll improv. And he just allow you to go. That's why he had those like 15-minute songs. You know what I'm saying?
Because they was letting be him right
exactly. They all come together, have their little harmony, and it's like everyone had their moment where you just improvise and like allow your spirit to share whatever was on your heart in that moment. And it was like sometimes the songs were different, right? You know what I mean? So that was a good example.
It was just so awesome. And speaking of, let's go through our segue. How can they find you on social media? They're like, okay, what does he do? So tell us what you do. Yeah. And how can they find you for assistance and help with writing and being creative?
Yeah, so I am a creative communicator. So what I do is I help entrepreneurs and healers, creatives, put actual steps to their visions. So you can find me on Instagram at free.man333. You can find me on Facebook as Craig Freeman. And if you want to work with me, you can of course DM me on Instagram, or you can shoot me an email at craig.freeman007@gmail.com.
Well, I have an email with 007 in it.
Yeah.
I do.
James Bond fan?
Yeah. Some of his movies, and then my birthday is 7, so it's kind of like, I have to put that in there. Put that little swag in that 007. And that's all like, I don't know, something with 2 zeros, and then adding that 7 just makes it feel like you just powerful, right?
Most definitely.
So the next part of this interview, we're going to go into basically being available, okay, with your writing or with your passion or with your creativeness. Yeah. Because say for instance, a lot of people just reach out to you. You know, how can you be available for so many people who are, okay, look, I done saw the podcast, now I need, you know, being available in your creativeness. How do you be available? How do you be like, forefront of what you do?
Man, that is, Lord, that is a good question.
Because sometimes you can lose your way.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's such a good question because, like, with me, it's something that I struggled with for a while, up until recently. It's like, I can do a lot of things in the writing space. Okay. Right? So I've written scripts, of course, in poetry. I've done the copywriting stuff, written people's biographies, just like your about me stuff. Yeah. So I had to get very streamlined into what exactly is that what I have to do in saying like, look, this is what I do and this is how I can help. But when it's too many people at one time, it's just like you have to really know your schedule. Your limits, your schedule, you know what I mean? It's like, because to me, you can take on too much and then you can't offer the service or the true healing that you want for people because now you're spreading so many different ways. You know what I mean? So that, like they say, you're spreading yourself thin, right? Yep. And so now you're in this moment where people are not getting all of you. They're not getting the full service of who you are in your spirit. So to me, it's like, you have, like you say, you have to understand your limit, and then you just space people out and be honest. Really, it's just
come on with it.
Upfront, be honest. But hey, look, man, I would love to work with you, and I probably will. Like as of right now, this is what I have on my plate. Yeah. Can I come back to you in a little while? Yeah. Right. And if you feel like you need this right now, then it's like, well, the price is gonna go up.
Because now I have to push you up a little bit.
Right. You know what I mean? And that's just, to me, I think like it's just being that direct and
Yes.
honest, because you have to be mindful of your own energy, right? It's limited, of course, in for the days, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be aware of your own energy. So
Yes.
if you're, if you have too many people on your plate and you feel like you can't do it, you gotta let people know, like, hey, look,
Please do.
or it's like maybe what you can do. My barber, he does this, right? He was really available.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And he used to go from like 7 to 7. So what he did was he just scrunched the schedule. He went from 7 to 3.
Okay.
And it's like, if you schedule an appointment outside that time, this is the
Good
price.
Is the price.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so it means, if you want to pay, if you're outside this time schedule, you must really want this, and I'll be there for you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, because you have to allow your time for yourself, and
Yeah.
of course, like your family, and friends, whatever, because we need time to recharge, so we can be at full steam,
Yeah.
for the next thing.
For the next thing. So how do you actually recharge?
Man, whew. I feel like I got a lot, man.
You just got a lot. Okay.
Yeah, so a lot for me, reading,
Oh. Yeah.
reading, meditation, being outside,
Mhm.
walking outside,
Yeah.
hiking,
Mhm.
like anything of that nature.
Yeah.
That's
That's
how I
outside the
recharge.
element.
And then and just a shout out to my girlfriend.
Oh,
Spending time with
hi.
her. Spending time with her. Like, for real, she
Yeah.
recharges me. And then, like, when we're able just to be with each other
Yes.
and enjoy our time, like, it could just be watching Netflix. It could be just us chilling in the living room, having a conversation,
Yeah.
not watching anything, like having music in the background, cooking some food. That's how I recharge.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a lot, because I understand who I am.
Yeah.
And like, there's so many different things that I can use in the moment. I have all these different approaches. It's like, all right, well, if I can't go walk out in nature right now, well,
Okay.
let me go cook something.
Well, that's
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I just cycle through them, and it's like, well, I just check them off the list. Well, dang, I can't do that. Can't do that right now. Oh, I can do this.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool beans, because with recharging, that is my main thing here in the studio. You have to recharge. And I have to say it to myself, because
Yeah.
Soraya gets on me a lot. She be like, you cannot you can't burn yourself out.
Yeah.
And so you have to find ways to be able to recharge. And for me, I'll get a Reiki session from Charlie. Or I just meditate. And sometimes I don't meditate with music. I just basically, if I just sit there and just do allow thoughts to just fly by, that's my business. And I'll just sit there and just let that happen.
Right.
And also, to another way too, is knowing yourself. Like you said, knowing yourself and what's going to make you happy to charge you. Because some things may charge you, at that 50%. Some things may charge you at 100%.
That's so real.
So knowing yourself. So what are steps that you took to get to know yourself? A lot of times, like you said, I didn't know myself. You woke up and was like, I had the flash from the movie, and I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I don't know me. What is going on?
Oh, Lord.
Because a lot of times we kind of reach back from tradition.
Yeah.
And our families want us to be doctors and lawyers and nurses, and we're like, but I wanted to play blocks back in the day. Can I build something?
Right.
I want to put on a cape and save the world.
Yeah.
Can I be a superhero? Like, I don't want to do that. But we do allow for a lot of our family members to put pressure on us, and then we lose ourselves. Now we adults.
Come on.
Gonna be 40, 50 years old, trying to figure out yourself. So what made you realize and figure out who you were?
Man, so I've heard, God will drag you through hell, right? God will drag you through hell to get you to heaven. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and for me, or really a better way to say, God will drag you through the mud so you will get closer to Him, right? He will drag you through the mud so you get closer to Him. And so for me, God did that for me.
Okay.
I wasn't living right, doing a whole bunch of wild stuff that I should
What?
have been doing.
You?
Man, come
Come
on.
on.
I know.
No.
Don't let the glasses fool you. But now I was wild because I was just reckless.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Okay.
And I loved to party. I had a lot of fun. Oh yeah, I was wild. People don't see it.
I can't, still can't.
I know people
Okay.
look at the church boy. You know what I'm saying? But no, I was wild, and during that time of confusion and not knowing where I needed to be, and not knowing who I was, and not knowing I didn't know what to do next.
Oh, okay.
Because I quit my job, right? I was like, I just knew I couldn't be in my job anymore, so I quit.
Okay.
And then I started studying music, and I was like, okay, this ain't it.
And
So
I
it's just
quit my
like,
job.
it was like, I was trying all these things, and I'm just like,
Oh, shoot.
so what is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I need to do? And I remember just like sitting there and like talking to myself and like praying and being like, bro, like, what you want me to do? And all he wanted was just for me to understand myself. You feel what I'm saying? And so what I did was I just started, like I said, I just started writing. And I remember writing this poem, and it was so trash. But in that moment, I felt incredible about it. Like, I was like, nigga, somebody need to sign me right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, sign me. For real. And I remember calling my friend, telling him about it. He was like, oh, okay.
You know, you got that one hype friend.
Yeah, he was like,
you know who to call, right?
Yeah, no, he was hype, but it was like, all right, bro, it was all right. You know, I'm just going to be nice to you right now. You know, it's like, I'm going to show you some love because you're my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? But, and I remembered how I felt in my emotional state. I just wanted to keep writing. So, right, and I think a lot of us, especially for me, it's like you're trying to balance the practical with the spiritual, right? And it's like, because a lot of us, it comes back to, all right, how do I be who I am,
okay,
and monetize that? I think that's a huge question for a lot of us, right? How do I make money from this, right? Because I know a lot of us want to make money from our being ourselves, being authentic, right?
Yep.
So I think it always starts with recognizing, like, what is your passion?
Yeah.
What do you enjoy doing? And I know that is something that has been repeated multiple times, but it's really true. Like, what do you enjoy doing?
Yeah.
Right? What do you really enjoy doing? What makes time go by? And just do it every single day. And then through that process, you're going to learn more about yourself. Because like for me, writing was just, I was trying to write to impress people, right?
Oh, okay,
I started, my motto is write to confront your flaws, not for applause, right? So that's what I was doing. I was writing for applause, right? And then I started to recognize, like, I wrote this poem called Hypocrite, and I was like, the whole point of that was like, I was writing this for applause, but really this is really about me.
Yes, right.
It's about me.
Like,
and I seen that, and I was like, shit, this is about me. You know what I mean? And so through that, like through your activity, whatever creative endeavor that may be, you're going to learn more about yourself. It's just taking the time to observe how you are with that activity. Where it could be anything. It's like, how does it make me feel, of course, right? What is this teaching me about myself? For example, it's like, like I said, with writing, I learned, like, at first, I was really writing for attention. I was writing for attention. And then it's like, when I started writing from my heart, I started to see more about me. And I started to see, like, shit, man, like, you have a lot of shit going on right now. And it's like, you really, what it was, it's like, it started out with the applause, but really what it was, you just wanted to understand more about yourself. You really wanted someone to listen, right? Because what it was, it stemmed from the fact that, like I said, with our visions, I couldn't get anyone to understand what I was experiencing. And what it was, I just needed to understand.
You needed, right. Nobody
else. It's just, I needed to understand that, and that's what. And by going through that process, I came so much closer to my spirit. I came closer to God. You know, whatever name you want to use, I came closer to my spirit because in the midst of that process, I learned who I am, how I operate, and how I share my message.
A lot of times it takes work.
Yeah, and that's all that it is.
It takes work.
Even in your passion, like we look at passions like, oh wow, like yes, time flies by, I love doing this, whatever. But even your passions take work.
Yes.
It takes so much work. And if you're doing it on an everyday, like on a daily basis, I promise you will learn so much more about yourself. And you can even if it's not like, for instance, if you're a carpenter and you're just cutting up wood and you're trying to make chairs or whatever item that you're trying to create from this pile of wood. It's like, all right, you're gonna learn, like, well, based on this measurement, right? This certain measurement, I want to get this type of wood. When I sand it, this is what happened, right? And you're learning so much more about it, and then you start putting the love into it, right? Because you truly appreciate the art form of it, the process of it, and that's the whole point. Is fall in love with the process, right? And then when you fall in love with the process, and then you make the steps for it.
There you go. And there you go. And that's what ended up happening. Because I had this room look different before the first day, the first month. And then I started, getting to the feeling, the vibe of everybody and, being able to adjust to people's personality. Because I've been having people come from all kind of states just to come for a Reiki healing or a Yoni steam session. And then I was like, when I go home, okay, I got this down. Okay, what's another step I can actually add to it to make it a little saucy? Okay, adding a rose hand bath. Okay, the women start liking it. The guys even start liking the rose hand bath. They like, well, I never play with roses, but this is, okay, cool, boom, boom, boom. So I got that piece. What can I do? What else? So you're gonna start adding. So you got the base, and then you just start adding levels to stuff that you're passionate about. And again, it's a process,
right?
And you'll start finding yourself in it.
Yes.
Like, this is what I like to do. And if you don't even know, look, I'm 40. I don't even know what I want. What did you want to be when you were younger?
Yeah.
What did you love to do when you was a baby? When you was a kid? Mine was coloring. Mine was basically helping other people.
Yeah.
Some people it was drawing, but then somebody said, well, you can't make money off drawing. What you doing? So now you're in a corporate chair.
Yeah.
Working this job that you hate going to,
right.
But every time you get a chance, you at work dibbling and drawing.
Yeah.
You at work drawing. That's your thing. That's your passion. And people love art.
Yeah.
People love to read still, even if it's on an iPad or a regular book. I like to smell of books. I like to crack open a book. That's just me, personally.
Man.
And I just love that. So it's like, a lot of people, you can't reinvent the wheel, but you can make it bigger. You can make it smaller.
That's real.
You can make it a different color.
I like that.
You know? So, yeah, if you got all these writers, you're a different writer because it's coming from you. It's coming from your experiences and how you dealt with them and how you was able to, and don't be afraid that there's so many writers out here because McDonald's and Burger King sell.
Everybody needs writers. Everybody needs writers. Like you about to say, they all selling burgers. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit.
One day I want McDonald's. One day I may want Burger King. So your writing, just still get it out there. Stop being afraid.
Right.
And so my one of my final questions to you is, how to let go of fear? Because you, again, with your writing, this is you. This is your words. When people read, it's like, damn, I didn't know that about him. What?
Oh.
How do you like snip that fear cord? Listen.
Let me tell you something. So, kind of piggybacking off the last question.
Okay.
Right? And then going back to the passions and everything.
Got it.
Life is a game of energy, right? So, with the passion, right? You're looking for something that energizes you.
Yes.
Right? And so, with the fear, right? You see how fear takes energy away from you, right?
It's the lowest vibrational energy.
Exactly,
You
right?
take you over down to 2D.
So it's the way to get around that is telling yourself, like, okay, so I know it's like people are going to judge you regardless of what you have to say. But it's like, if this energizes you, gets you up in the morning, or gives you, like, it recharges you in some shape, form, or fashion, why would you not do it? You know what I mean? And so, like, you have to look at it from that perspective. Like, if this is giving me energy, if this is building me up, giving me self-esteem, confidence, whatever, it's like, why would I allow fear to stand in the way of me being energized, right? Because the more energy I have, the more that I can give. And as a human being, we all want to give, right? So it's like, if there's something that gives me energy and allows me to give more to my friends, my family, anyone that comes within, I guess my sphere, right? Why would I not do it? Because fear, all it is just, all it's going to do is, like, you're going to be scared, you won't do it, and then, like, later on, you're going to, man, I should be doing this, man, I should do it. And then you get in that fear state again, and you don't do it. All you're doing is delaying it. All fear does is delay that satisfaction, that energy that you're trying to receive for yourself. It delays your transformation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why will you allow your fear to transform, like, to delay your transformation? That's the question I ask myself. It's like, why would I allow this to?
Why do you want it to even?
You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I allow it to delay? Like, because we're all here to transform in some shape, form, or fashion. So why would I allow fear to keep me stagnant in the same state of being? And through that state of being of fear, right?
Right.
If we get into the physiological part of it, right? Sorry.
No, we understood what you said.
Yeah.
We understood. Keep it moving.
Right. So it's like, now that weakens your immune system.
Ooh.
It actually has the ability to kill brain cells, right? So it's like, so essentially now it's like you're allowing fear to kill your brain cells, and as well as weaken your immune system. So now you're more susceptible to diseases and all other host of ailments, and as well as now fear is making you dumber. Why would you want to be?
You don't want to. You don't want
You see
that.
what I'm saying? So it's like, now it's like you can look at it from a spiritual perspective. It's like, I'm trying to transform, and then you can look at it from the physiological process, where it's like, why would I do this to my body?
Yourself.
You know what I'm saying?
Down slowly.
Yeah. Why would, like, you? Because to me, I've done that to myself.
Okay.
And I've seen in moments where, I guess in the past, where like my brain wasn't working as fast as it used to. Because I was really stressed out and afraid of expressing what it was on my mind.
Right.
What I was going through, right? Because people weren't understanding, so I just shut down and said, you know what, I'm tired of talking about it.
I'm done.
Right. You know,
like you get frustrated, like, you know what, forget it.
So through that fear, it slowed me down, right? And it's like I was unable to connect the thoughts that I was trying to share with people.
Okay.
Right? And through that, all it did was just make me more frustrated, more confused. You know, so it's
at the end of the day.
So at the end of the day, it's just like all you're doing is just hurting yourself, being in fear.
Yep.
So yeah.
And so with that, a lot of people is fearful of failure. You gonna fail.
That's right.
So many successful people have failed over and over and over again. I found out from the guy, I think Game of Thrones, he said he wrote his first script and it was trash.
Yeah.
But now look at him. Like years later. And it's okay to start now. It's never too late to start. And failure only basically, I don't even call it failure, I call it lessons. Because now you have a blueprint.
That's
okay,
right.
that didn't work.
That's all that it is.
Yeah, that didn't work.
That's all that it is.
So let's try something else.
Yeah.
But the first thing I do is jump. And regardless of who, what, where, because everybody who said you was dumb and you was stupid, they're going to be right there in line looking for a check. I need to borrow some money when the idea pops off. Because it will pop off. Yeah, you know, I was just trying to
blow up.
I was just giving you a push.
Right.
You know. So yeah, let me hold something. You like, bruh, you was my delay in my process.
Exactly.
You was the one that put fear in me. You was the one that said I wasn't gonna make it. You know, and a lot of times we're afraid of the failure, what people are gonna say, because the subconscious mind is one of them ones that will keep, every time you try to write, what you writing for? You hear somebody's voice.
Yeah.
That don't even sound right. And it's not even your own voice. People put their own insecurities on you. It's not even your insecurities. It's theirs. So because they can't write, you can't write. What?
Sister feet in the house, yo.
What?
Sister
because you can't draw. I can. What? That don't even make sense.
That's so real.
That don't even make sense, and it shouldn't stop you. Nothing should stop you. If one door closes,
another one opens.
Let me knock on this next one.
Right.
Let me not be a Jehovah's Witness. Come on, somebody open the door. One of these people gonna open the door today. Have you heard about Jesus? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, keep going. Don't let hell. You know what? A perfect example.
Yeah.
Cardi B. When I was looking at, when I was into reality TV, and she was on, was it Love and Hip? What was it? Love and Hip Hop?
Yeah.
And how she talked. You know, her whole persona, how she talked, nobody would give her a chance. And old boy was like, you trash. When I blinked, it seemed like, damn, it's the same girl from.
Exactly.
You can't stop her now.
Can't stop her.
And she didn't let nobody stop her. Everybody else, they signed everybody else around her. She's like, okay. She just found somebody who believed in her.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. And that, like I said, don't have fear to fail, because I don't call it, like I said again, failure. It's a lesson learned.
That's so real.
Man.
Can I share one more thing?
Sure. Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
I heard this from this guy. His name is David Groggins, and he's like this he was in the military. I guess he was in the Marines.
Okay.
And he's considered one of the toughest people on the planet, right?
Really?
Oh man, you hear his stories, it's amazing. He's been from like fat to fit he went from fat to fit to fat to fit. And he runs all these miles. He did like a 100-mile marathon. He just always pushed himself. He pushed himself physically, right? Right.
Gracious.
But he was in his interview, and he was saying like what pushes him, right?
Okay.
He was saying that he had this thought where he died, right? And he met, God, whoever it is, and the judge, you have this book, right? And saying like, hey man, look, I saw your life, and you didn't do anything. You stayed fat. You was always on the couch just watching TV, whatever. And that's kind of what we had written here, man. And it's unfortunate that that's how your life ended up. And then he was like, but then what I really want is whoever it is on the other side, right? Whoever it is that I meet is judging me or is watching over my story. I want them to be like, man, I had you down for like losing all that weight. I had you down for, getting married and having kids and everything, but I didn't see this coming. I didn't see you running that marathon. I didn't see you waking up every single day and, and working on yourself like you do. I didn't see you studying for that test and rewriting every single word of a book and rewriting the book over and over and over again and keeping it and reading it and then speaking it out loud. I didn't see you doing that. I'm impressed. So I have this quote where it's like, I tell myself, impress God every day.
Whoa.
And that to me is like
God
that. If you impress God every day, what are you scared of?
There's nothing to be afraid of.
Right.
And again, because you know that you're doing it for a higher purpose, a higher being.
Yeah.
Not your mom, your dad, your sister, or whoever's on social media.
Yeah.
And that should push you to be like, okay, if it do happen, it happened. A lot of businesses open and close. A lot of things happen. But again, at least you tried.
Yeah.
And you made the attempt, and you was out here like, I tried that, it didn't work. Okay.
Yeah.
I tried that, it didn't work. Let's try something else.
Yeah.
And then also too, people gotta also open your mouth and ask for help.
Man.
Because they make it so hard to even start a business, or to even how should a business proposal look like if I want to get this $1 million loan.
Right.
Ask, reach out.
Feet call me out, y'all.
I'm calling myself out because I'm trying to write a proposal now.
Right.
But it's kind of like a lot of people say don't call it up because I get so caught up in business proposal. Call it a passion proposal. Like what you told me? Somebody told me they call it a passion proposal. Probably him. It was him. Call it a passion proposal because you're putting your passion into it, and then allow somebody who knows the technical analysis of it to add in. Okay, you need a PowerPoint and you need a graph and then all your words just fill in.
Yeah.
At that point you got a tag team with somebody.
Yeah.
But write your passion and what you're trying to do. And the main thing is we all here for one purpose and one reason, and that's to basically help and make this world a better place and to love.
That's real.
At the end of the day.
That is real. Amen. Sister.
Yeah. So you have this has been an awesome, amazing, like in your face episode about passion, creativity, having those steps, in place and having them actionable steps. Not me trying to skip from 1 to 3 and stuff like that. So any last minute comments, concerns, questions, or anything you got for the people today?
Man, Lord, I'm just gonna reiterate what I just said.
Okay.
Impress God every day. Let that be a mantra for you.
Okay.
Impress God every single day because you're here for a reason. You're here to transform, and that transformation is to be something that God didn't have scripted for you. So.
And not only God, but those people who doubted you. Oh man, he was that kid that was, out here wilding. Or he was that kid that, always got in trouble in school.
Exactly.
I didn't see him being a multi-millionaire. I didn't see that coming.
Right.
No, because you wasn't supposed to.
Right. Exactly.
You was not supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, again, this has been another amazing episode of Gemini Podcast.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for tuning in, listening, wherever you are, watching on YouTube, and thank you for taking the time, because time is precious, for coming out today and sitting with me for this hour.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So y'all, until next time, love and light. Bye.
Peace and blessings.